In the previous episode, Shiori took Hinako on a trip to the seaside. However, it wasn't long before rain began to pour. Undearly, countless hands emerged from the ocean. Shiori explained to Hinako that these were the spirits of humans who had died accidentally at sea beings who, unable to transform into full-fledged monsters, were left in this tormented state. This reminded Hinako of her own family, and she couldn't help but wish she might catch a glimpse of them among the lost. To avoid attracting something worse, Shiori led Hinako to a pavilion further from the shore to wait out the rain. Noticing that Hinako's clothes were soaked through, Shiori tried to help her remove her outer layer to prevent her from catching a cold. Hinako, however, resisted strongly. In the struggle, her jacket accidentally slipped off, revealing the scars left by the car accident. Embarrassed, Hinako apologized for letting Shiori see such an ugly sight, saying it must surely ruin Shiori's appetite. To her surprise, Shiori embraced her tightly, saying that no matter her outward appearance, what mattered to her was Hinako herself. Though Shiori's body and hands were cold, Hinako felt an unprecedented warmth in that moment. After the rain stopped, Shiori and Hinako prepared to head home. Before leaving, Shiori bought Hinako a shawl as an apology for not letting her enjoy the day to the fullest. Hinako simply smiled and said that if another chance arose, she would be happy to go out with Shiori again. Back at school, Hinako brought Miko a souvenir and expressed her hope that they could go out together someday. Overjoyed, Miko hugged Hinako and said she would go anywhere with her. Miko then had a request. In a few days, her basketball club was going on a training camp nearby, but both of the team's managers had prior commitments. She asked if Hinako would be willing to step in as a substitute manager for a few days. Just then, Shiori appeared, teasing Miko about being able to travel again. Miko proudly explained that the training location wasn't far, so it wouldn't be a problem. When Hinako asked why distance mattered, a flustered Miko quickly made up an excuse. After thinking it over, Hinako agreed, but only if all three of them could go together. This made Miko realize that Hinako and Shiori had grown even closer, and she started bickering jealously with Shiori. The day of the training camp arrived soon after. Though clearly annoyed, Miko still brought Shiori along. As substitute managers, Shiori and Hinako were tasked with handling logistical work. They were joined by another girl named Ayam. Hinako noticed Shiori looking at Ayam strangely, but Shiori just smiled and said Hinako was overthinking it. During a break, Miko spotted Shiori wandering alone and accused her of dumping all the work on Hinako. Shiori explained that Hinako was preparing dinner with Ayam, and since she couldn't help much with that, she was focusing on physical tasks instead. Miko was surprised Shiori was actually being helpful, but she was more curious about why Hinako would open up to someone so mysterious. Shiori believed the reason was simple: she could fulfill Hinako's wish, whereas Miko, despite always being by her side, could not and thus could never truly reach Hinako's heart. On the other hand, Shiori admitted she was somewhat envious that despite Miko's wish conflicting with Hinako's, Hinako still wanted Miko to stay close. Just then, a dorm monitor called Shiori away, interrupting their conversation. As Shiori left, Miko wondered inwardly just how much of what he said to Hinako is actually true. After dinner, Hinako was washing dishes with Ayam. Learning that Hinako had learned to cook from a friend, Ayam remarked how close Hinako and Shiori seemed. Hinako quickly clarified that the friend she met wasn't Shiori, then asked Ayam if they really seemed like good friends. When Ayam confirmed it, Hinako found herself wondering what exactly her relationship with Shiori was. Meanwhile, Shiori and Miko were observing Hinako and Ayam working in the kitchen. Shiori told Miko that Ayam carried a scent very similar to Hinako's, and she could only hope things wouldn't take the turn she feared. That evening, some basketball club members invited Hinako to join them for a bath. Hesitant because of her scars, Hinako was at a loss for how to respond. Luckily, Shiori showed up just in time, covering for her by saying she and Hinako had tasks to finish. The two found a quiet corner to wait until the baths were free. Hinako asked Shiori why she was always so kind to her. Shiori replied that everything she did was for her own sake. After a moment's hesitation, Hinako asked if Shiori couldn't just be friends with her, like Miko. Unexpectedly, Shiori told her plainly that it was completely impossible, then left Hinako alone. Right after Shiori departed, Ayam appeared and called Hinako away. Why did Shiori say Ayam carries a scent similar to Hinako's? How will the situation unfold? Follow my channel to be the first to know the latest developments in the story.